Today we are talking about new paradigm leadership and what it means to kind of go up against the grain of ingrained ways within society and how this prevents us from being our true self. I am a huge advocate for working with the inner child, and I wholeheartedly believe the inner child has all of the keys to our queendom. She or he is this magical, infinite, tapped in, tuned in aspect that lives within each and every one of us that, when repressed, can create stuckness, a lack of momentum, disconnection, and loss of power. And you might think, how is it the inner child that is, responsible or available for so much magic? It's the inner child that is within us that thinks anything is possible. It's this infinite aspect that can take a cardboard box and turn it into a boat. It's the permission to dream bigger and wilder and freer. It's this deep and wide open space where the linear structures that is society has not yet been applied. It was about 5 years ago. I was walking along the beach in beautiful Ipanema, Riverton, and I was realizing that, houses and society itself is like an Instagram filter. It's a layer of perception that we place upon the land, and it's a limited way of experiencing the wholeness that is really life. And if we can start to think about, looking at life as if everything we're looking at is a filter, and if we can imagine, how it feels to scroll across Instagram and pick a different filter which changes how the photo looks, we can start to make it a little bit easier to have the courage to actually look at the land and look at the world in what might be the true essence of it, without our learned ways of being and behaviors on top of it. And that also allows us to look more purely and truthfully at ourselves and others. This limitless inner child holds the keys to your magic because it holds the keys to your heart. Your heart is your superpower, and I think we must find ways to really connect in with the purity of the heart, the true lovingness of the heart. And this allows us to not only live more aligned and authentically, but to receive the gifts. Yes, scientifically, the heart has an electromagnetic field, and there are electrical pulses, and there is science that connects both the heart with the electromagnetic field of the earth. But I guess I'm speaking on more of a spiritual term in terms of the heart, the energy of the heart and the heart's wisdom. Your heart and you, despite what you might think, in your true core essence, you are an infinite, powerful, beautiful, amazing goddess of creation. And we accumulate shame with experiences that happened to us that make us think that we are wrong or bad or dirty or a bad person, or we exclude ourselves. And while I acknowledge that this can create a type of rebellion against society, I also see that that also exists in duality, because duality says left or right, right and wrong, hot and cold. So again, it comes back full circle with the whole picture of realizing that even though you think something is wrong with you, It's not actually the truth. And you don't have to change a single hair on your head. So how do we begin to work with this shame that has prevented us from going after things that we really, really want? How do we clear this shame that is inherited just from our culture that we were born into? From our parents, from society? We work with the body and we move away from the mind and we connect in with the truth of the infinite inner child. And this takes courage. When you choose to really shine in all that you are and who you are, you will come up against projections and you will be a threat. And certainly it's been very difficult the last 5 years speaking more truthfully and freely and sharing more abstract art and speaking about spirituality and having to deal with projections of other people. I looked at myself like I was wrong, like I didn't want to make anyone else feel bad about themselves or feel insecure or threatened or bad. And I knew in my heart, I am here to inspire and empower. Sorry, that really had to come out. And I began getting really comfortable with being a walking trigger. Even though in my heart I know I have pure intention and I don't wish to trigger anyone. Because I realized that the more I speak my truth, the more I own who I am, the more I reclaim myself and my power, the more I play with my inner child every single day, whether that be by throwing paint or by baking pink cupcakes or fairy bread or doing things just for the pure joy of it. That is my contribution to untying the threads in a woven blanket of a society that was never big or beautiful enough for the truth of who we really are. I guess what I'm trying to say is that when you stand up and you shine and you speak your truth, it creates a whole new paradigm that allows and gives permission for other people to do the same. And like my experience, you might face a lot of rejection. You might face people laughing at you. You might face threats or people commenting really nasty things on Facebook. But from what I've learned is that these are actually really positive things, and these things mean that you're on the right path, and the people that love you, the people that are really truly there to support you, will. And you are never alone. Your heart is your superpower, and it's just a case of moving that perception and working with that shame, because otherwise there becomes this feedback loop. And a feedback loop is like anything I see in the physical world that confirms what I think in myself. The voice of shame could say, I don't get treated like a queen in my relationship because I have a poochy tummy, or I have extra weight on my tummy than what I see advertised. Let's just say that as an example, and that's something I've also struggled with. How do I fit into this ideal picture that is really just an ideal? Because there is no right and wrong, right? It's all a spectrum. But this voice of shame was a conclusion that we could have come up with when we got broken up with 10 years ago. That wasn't actually the truth of the situation. It was just an assumption that we perceived at the time because we were trying to understand and make sense of our experience. This voice of shame could also say something like, I am stuck in a job that I don't like and I'm earning much less than I am because I'm actually not that smart. And that is just a story that's accumulated based on a conclusion from an experience where you perhaps weren't old enough or able to understand or process it fully to seek the real gold. And when we look at things from a higher perspective, we know that everything is always working out for us and for our highest good, and it's all lessons and wisdom and data and growth. And then comes that moment of existential crisis. Oh my gosh, what have I have been believing about myself my entire life that I have fed to myself to keep myself small because I thought I was wrong, when in fact I have been right this entire time, and the things that were most natural within me, my most natural voice and natural intuition and my most natural desire to connect, with the ocean, or to paint or squiggle or doodle or be silly. That was me, or you, or us, expressing our soul. But the beautiful thing is that it's always there. And no matter what has happened to you, what you've gone through, how closed your heart has become, or how much shame is sitting in your body, it can be alchemized, and you can come back as the phoenix and rise from the ashes like the goddess you are and the power you are, realizing there is nothing and has never been anything wrong with you. You are so much more powerful than you know. And the key is in your heart. The key is in your infinite inner child. She or he knows the truth. So please, have the courage to face these things, these stories, even if they really, really hurt, and even if they're covering up years of trauma. You are so much stronger than you think. And while it may feel at times that you don't have a place, you don't fit in, or you don't want to fit in, or you have deemed yourself excluded or rejected, the world needs you, and I need you, and we all need you to speak your truth and to stand up and shine in your power. Because we're all in this together. And through our collective new perception, this new Instagram filter that we place upon ourselves and place upon the land, place upon our hearts, in ethical, aligned, true ways with who we are and who we are becoming. We are part of the ripple. And that's the thing that I want to be part of. So please, give yourself space and time, turn off your phone, lock the doors, sit in silence, hug your body, connect in with the pulses and the sensations that you feel in your body, the heartbeat, the circulation. Ask yourself to become aware of the energy moving through your body, and allow your own inner wisdom to lead the way. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a beautiful day. Ka kite, namaste. This show is available as a podcast from the Radio Southland website, radiosouthland.org.nz. You can stream or download from our site. Just look for the Programs tab. Links to stream podcasts can also be found on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Radio Southland. You can subscribe on the Apple Podcasts platform and never miss an episode. You can also look for the podcast on Spotify, search us out, and make sure you follow us. Or there's the updated accessmedia.nz app. Look for the kiwi fruit logo, download for free from the Google Play or the Apple App Store, and make sure you select Radio Southland as your station.